Hey everyone, this is the TheIDBand channel, and I've got a real fun video. It's about this flashlight, the Thorfire. Now I've gone through a dozen flashlights I really don't like, and this is the first one I really love. It uses loud laptop batteries, 18650s, to power these, and they are very bright. I'll get into more of this. I'll tell you what's all involved in this video. Part 1, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the flashlight. Part 2, I'm going to tell you how to harvest old laptop batteries. Part 3, I'm going to go through charging. It's kind of a long process, a lot to it. And then Part 4, how to revive old laptop battery cells so you can use them in these flashlights. So it has 5 modes, this flashlight. So you don't have to have it as bright, but it is blinding light this puts out. It does get a little hot. It does come with a cord here, real nice, real sturdy. It comes with 2 extra little O-rings here for the waterproofness. And I've given one to my mother and my girlfriend, and they both love it. I really recommend it. I've only had it for a month, but still love it. This is the VG-15S. It's cost about 20 some, over 20 bucks, something like that. So let me get into part 2, which is harvesting the batteries you're going to use for that flashlight. And basically what you do is get your old laptop batteries that don't run anymore or you don't use in your laptop. And this is a factory one, HP. These are tough little boogers to get open. I'm going to have to use some kind of Dremel to open this up. That's why I haven't opened this one up yet. Basically, you would use a replacement pack, and those you can go right underneath here with like a screwdriver or something small and just pop these open. It should be pretty easy. I've seen guys twist, and I've seen guys smash these on the ground to get them open. But I want to use this method first. I recommend this method first. And take drastic measures if you need to. So that's how you open them. Just work it as best you can, and take the measures that you need to get them open. So when these are open, they'll be attached. This is the main part where the charge happens. There'll be wires in series and in parallel. What you'll need to do is you'll need to use snippers, wire cutters, to snip off the connections. Most likely they're going to be welded on the tops and bottoms of the batteries. So just go snip them off. Don't worry about that. Snip off the wires. You might want to be careful if you want to use this battery case again. Keep the wires, don't destroy it all. Just in case you want to go back and put some new good batteries in there and solder it up just real nice. But that's not what we're going to do here today. We're just going to harvest all these. So like I said, snip off. What I did, I used a Dremel to just kind of get rid of the little spot welds too, but that's not necessary. I did kind of mess up because this is the covering for the negative. This is all negative, and it's protecting the positive there. You can tell by the little round circle, that's the positive. So the outer casing is negative. So you want to have this coating on here. And safety, you want to basically do this in a place where if these leak, they're pretty toxic and cancerous if you touch them. So if they explode, you want it in a safe area where it won't hurt anything. You can clean it up and that kind of thing. So safety first, everyone. Especially when you go to charge, and part 3 is coming up here about charging. But if any of these get hot, and I'm not talking just a little warm, I'm talking you can really tell that they're starting to get hot. That means these batteries are no good. So there's no way you can really charge them. So when you put them in here, let me put one in. That's why I like these chargers. Basically, they're going to tell you where you're at. They're going to start charging, kind of do an initial test here. They're going to tell you different things you need to know about this battery. Now this one I've marked not holding charge, used to revive. So this is 4.22 volts. So this is all charged, ready to go. And you'll see this little blinking, you can see it blink. That will tell you it's done charging. Write your statistics down. So this gives you some information. I would mark these with a letter and a number. Then I would say put the date. Then I would put the voltage it was charged at. And I'm going to hit this mode. And it doesn't have milliamps an hour because it didn't go through the charging process. But you would get the milliamps an hour, mAh, and that will tell you kind of the health of the battery. So the higher the number, the better. You want to use anything from 1,000 on up. I think the largest one I found was about 3,000. But I don't know if that was a real true reading. But most of them were 2,200, 1,600 milliamps an hour. But anyway, you would record, mark down on there, like C4, A1, whatever. Then you would mark down the date, the milliamps an hour, and that's it. So you do that to all your batteries. You would label it, put down the statistics, milliamps an hour, the voltage it was charged to, milliamps an hour, and do that to all your batteries. Then either 2 weeks later or 4 weeks later, I did them both. I did them 2 weeks later and then 4 weeks later. And then you would take your meter here, and you would basically, when you take it out of the charger, you'd also test to see what the meter is saying and write that down. And don't go by what this says, go by what your meter says. So even though that said 4.22, this meter says 4.08. So write that number down. Okay, since this is going to be used to revive old batteries, let me put that aside. Okay. Now we've charged, we've logged, we've named all the batteries. So we want to go to part 4, how to revive an old battery. So let me turn off the light here. Maybe you can see it. This is part 4, how to revive a completely dead battery. Let me not use that one. Let me use this one. A1, this was my first one I ever charged. Now, I think you can see underneath, you can see little spaces. Okay. Now, if you know this is a 0 charge or it will not charge in your charger, because it usually needs an initial charge for it to see what's going on with it. If it's 0, chances are this battery has gotten hot. And what happens is underneath this positive cap, there is another cap. And I'll say it this way. Like you're canning food. On the down, when the cap is down, it's sealed. It's got a pretty healthy seal. Same thing with this battery. The cap needs to be down because it makes a contact so the battery works. When it gets hot, this safety mechanism, if a battery gets hot, it will pop this little cap underneath this top cap. So it will disconnect the battery and render it useless. But a lot of these batteries just got hot and popped, but they're still good. So to revive, you would take this tool, something small. It'd probably have to be a small screwdriver. But basically you would go under these little openings. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Anyway, you go underneath there like this and then push down. So you'll actually feel that cap go down, push down. So you want to do that to all the sides. Go in there, push down, push down there. So that what that does is pushes the cap down, makes connection, so then you're ready to test this. So we're going to test it. We just revived it. And it's got 2.85. And a lot of the ones I did revive had a charge like that, had a healthy charge. So at this point, you'd put REV for revived. You could put the voltage, but I wouldn't do that just yet. Basically, once you work on all the revived ones, you would charge them. Now this is the process where you have to be very careful. Since we know these heated up, you're going to have to watch these really careful. That's why I kind of did these last. So when you initially put them in, make sure you check pretty often, touch these when they're in the charger, touch them to make sure that they aren't warm. If they get warm just a little bit or a moderate amount of heat, then they're no good. Set them aside and put hot next to the revive, or an X, something like that, however you want to label it, that says it got hot on me, I can't charge it, that kind of thing. Alright, so we have revived. This has got a full charge. This is a real healthy battery. Let me turn the light back on. This is a real healthy battery. That's why I got this one red. And blue, let's say this is just revived. So this had 2.8 volts in it. If you come across one that you do the little push down the cap and it has 0 voltage in it, then this will not recognize this battery. So if you have a battery like that, this is where part 4 comes in, where I'm going to tell you a trick. If you've revived it and it still has 0, or you've revived it and it doesn't have enough juice for this thing to start charging normally, it'll just sit there and spin, say null. I've had several batteries like that, and they're still good. A lot of them, or most of them I did, were good. So I saw this on a YouTube channel, and it was a real neat trick. I have magnets here, these little tiny square magnets. Okay, this one needs to be revived. This one is full. So I'm going to line up the positive sides. Let me get the other magnets on. Okay, this is ready to revive, this one. Actually, I'm not going to do a real good one here. I'm going to get one I know, and I've marked. Oops. I've marked this one, not holding a charge, used to revive. Now these are cells that, when I put in here, charge to 4.2 volts, but the milliamps an hour were like ungodly low. So this will hold a charge for, like, I don't know, maybe a half a day, and it'll discharge pretty quickly. But the initial charge is pretty good. So this is really good to use on the flashlight. It's just good to use it to revive other batteries, because it does hold some kind of charge. This is 4 volts. But it really doesn't last very long. Well, that's the kind I need. So let me put the little magnets on it. All right. So this has got about 4 volts. I don't need it 4.2 volts to start reviving this one. Just need it up there with something. So I've got the positive on this side. So you take a wire, you'd hit the negative to the negative. That's why this is so ingenious, is you don't have to, if you're rolling around, you don't have to worry about the connections going off. So then you would place the positive to the positive and then wait for about 10 to 20 seconds. If you do this too long, you possibly could blow up a battery. So this is a real quick method to revive this battery. So you don't want to do this too long. And I would also, when you hook that up, touch it to make sure it's not heating up real fast. So about 10 to 20 seconds. So let me take these off, since I'm not really charging them for real. But that's how you revive this old battery that said 000. So this should be good. Take off the magnets. This should be good now, or at least have something in it, a volt or two. That would be the time to put this in the charger, and then it should show up here, recognize it, and it should charge normally and go through your whole routine. So that's how you revive these batteries. A little trick there with the magnets I thought was genius. So I think that's most of what I was going to go through. I went through the safety, how you revive, the battery case. Now, if you only don't have a battery like this, you're just going to have to wing it as far as what is a good long-lasting battery and what isn't. I suppose if you just use it in the flashlight and if it goes out real quick, well, that's not the battery for you. So if you don't have all this equipment, you can just go try the batteries, see how long they last, that kind of thing. So I've had like a dozen of these batteries, and I've only switched this out once in about a couple weeks or a month. So I really love the fact that you can just charge these. You don't have to worry about wasting a lot of money on store-bought batteries. Chances are you've got a treasure trove at home. You can just start doing all this stuff and start saving some money. That's why I love these flashlights. So I think that's all I was gonna go through. It's been fun doing this video. I finally found a flashlight that I loved and kind of wanted to share this video with you guys. Just because it's been, whenever I find something I like to kind of put it up and see how you guys react to it. If I get a lot of hits, I might keep doing interesting stuff like this. So I did try other flashlights like the Bell & Howell. These are nice. This would be my number 2 light. You still have to buy store-bought, batteries for this one. But they do last a little while, but you just can't beat the Thorfire. So it's been about 20 minutes. Went a little bit longer than I thought. If I have any other things I forgot to tell you about, I'll probably maybe post a comment or two. So that's it. Stay tuned to the TheIDBand channel for more videos, and hope this has been helpful.